Ladies and gents, welcome back. What does the media do when they fall victim of criticism for their own coverage of the latest current events? As we know, the media has been propagandizing us here in Canada, and there's been some serious backlash on what's been going on, and there's been some backlash towards politicians as well for their role in what's been happening here in Canada. Well, I mean, I just have a look at the channel and the other videos leading up to this to see, well, possibly why. Now, there's some criticism pushing back. The media does what they do best, and, well, it's your fault. It's your fault because of, well, we'll get into that. Here we go. CTV News, Trudeau calls for leaders to take united stance after Freeland confronted in Alberta. Now, Freeland, Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister, was confronted by a rather large man recently. And here's the article. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't condone going and shouting at people, but this may happen to politicians, leaders, and media people for just not being upfront with people and lying to them constantly. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called for political leaders to take a united stance against threats of violence and intimidation on Sunday, days after his deputy was confronted by an Alberta man who repeatedly yelled profanity at her and called her a traitor. We got some video of that here.
If your truck is being used in these protests, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's footage of the Deputy Prime Minister, what is being seen as unlawfully declaring a state of emergency against peaceful protesters in Ottawa. My bad. Let me get to the other clip.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views.
Oh, sorry. Again, wrong clip. Apologies. Here's another reporter reporting on the situation at hand.
Justin Trudeau, I mean, I thought he was kind of a cool guy. Then I started to read what he said. This is a couple of weeks ago. He was, or maybe this is September, but he was talking about people who are not vaccinated. He said they don't believe in science. They're often misogynistic, often racist. No, they're not.
That was not smart of him at all.
Right. He said, but they take up space. And with that, we have to make a choice in terms of a leader as a country. Do we tolerate these people? It's like, tolerate them. Now you do sound like Hitler.
That.
Oh, sorry. Wrong clip again. My bad. I'm just sloppy this this Tuesday morning on this one. Actually, here's the clip of Chrystia Freeland being harangued at in Alberta. My bad. Just want to put that out there. Here's the clip from the National here, and where they begin to spin it.
Chrystia, yes. What the are you doing in Alberta?
This abuse hurled at the Deputy Prime Minister, the latest escalation of threats and intimidation against
members of public office and the media. And yes, absolutely, this stuff is happening, and I don't condone you approaching people. Don't send hate mail to these people. Don't go on Twitter and harangue them. I don't think this is the best approach for this, especially if you're going to be vitriolic but here's the thing. They do need to be held up to account for the things that they say and do, but do it in a way. If you're going to complain about somebody's reporting, complain about it through the proper channels. Please do not just approach these people and harangue them, because it'll turn into this, and this is how they spin the story.
Against women in public life, including those who report on it.
It's different from just hate mail, because I get
Wait a second, who are you? Who are you? You're not Chrystia Freeland. But anyway, let's let this report keep going.
I've gotten hate mail a lot.
Erica Ifill is part of a group of targeted Canadian journalists speaking out for weeks.
We've been receiving hate mail as part of a coordinated, targeted effort at what I call psychological warfare.
The anonymous email started a month ago. The messages are racist, misogynist, and sexually violent. The death threats personal.
These repeated attempts at, destabilizing us, I would say, are more insidious. They include details about our past work.
I'm sorry, but details about your past work would be, if that's what they're complaining about, that's a thing. Anyway, who is this woman, this Erica Ifill? I had to look her up because I never heard of her. And I've been covering the media's approach to, well, to everything in Canada. And I'd never heard of her. So I had to look her up. Here's some of her very rarely published, but available out there work of art. Here we go. This published by the Hill Times. The colonist experiment is flagging. The flagging, or the outward expression of Canadian pride, read as nationalism and the violence and racism that comes with it, much like the American flag. Okay, what is that? What does that have to do with anything? And of course, it's showing the the Freedom Convoy protest there in Ottawa and throwing a racial spin on it. But is that she's not a one-trick pony, is she? Well, okay, here's an article she wrote about Don Cherry. How Don Cherry resisted Canada's brownface. Oh, Erica Ifill. Canada's hockey and Don Cherry walked hand in hand for 40 years without noticing that they lost an entire generation of highly diverse viewers. Okay. This dates back to 2019, by the way. What else do we got here? Oh, Erica Ifill on LinkedIn posting... Professionalism is a racist construct. The entire concept of professionalism is mostly used to police the behavior and appearance of Black people in the workplace. I didn't know that that's what professionalism meant. Goodness, this is a real thing. So I had to look her up because I never heard of her ever. But she's right there on CBC getting a full day in the public over this, even though she's not a very published journalist in the field. Anyway, she's a grifter, and we can tell what that grift is. She's an economist journalist at Not In My Color, where meaningful conversations turn into systemic change, anti-oppression, and equality consulting, founded by blah, blah, blah. Anyway, few years back, she wasn't a journalist. She was a public servant. And here's what she had to say to CBC at that time about her experience in public service.
It was abusive, to be honest. That's how, if there were one word that I would sum up for my public service experience, it would be abusive. My hope is that they actually build systems of accountability when it comes to not only anti-Black racism, anti-indigeneity, and just racism in general. I honestly hope that there is change. I think that it's possible, but people have to take this seriously and not build a marketing effort behind it.
That's an interesting thing to say. Not build a marketing effort behind it. What else have we got? We've got Canada. This is, now, mind you, this article where she's saying this is from 2 years ago, where she was working in the public service and was not happy with her experience there. Now she's not happy with her experience in journalism. I think there's a trend there that she's not happy where she goes. Canada, online violence against women journalists of color rages on. Erica Ifill, latest target of organized trolls. Interesting that they took the picture from their own coverage, or from the CBC coverage of 2 years ago, when she wasn't complaining about being a journalist. She was complaining about being a public servant. But yeah, it seems like, if it seems like a grift, it's probably a grift. But why does this have to do with Chrystia Freeland? Well, because that's how you spin it. It's you get harangued as the Deputy Prime Minister of the country of Canada. Now, that can't be just left alone. You have to include the haranguing and harassment of fringe journalist, I guess. Someone who's not highly published anyway. I had a hard time even finding those articles. Normally, if you use a published journalist, their name on any platform, search platform, you'll find countless articles that they've written in recent times and going way back. So Miss Erica Ifill, I feel bad for her grift and what she wants to put out there. If she feels like she's being harassed for whatever, I can see why people don't agree with her articles, but I don't condone any of the harassment. I don't think she's a foremost and front center person for this sort of thing. I think maybe we should have Chrystia Freeland come forward and have an open question period where Canadian people can come in and talk to her themselves, and then perhaps we can clear the air. But that's not something that we do here in Canada anymore. We don't have discussions about these things. But you know where we do have discussions about these things? In the comment section down below. Let me know what you think regarding this subject, regarding the fact that they're taking the harassment that's taking place towards public leaders and journalists for their horrible coverage, their horrible policies, and trying to flip it around and make it that you're a bad guy for the racismo. And that's basically the spin today in Canada. Anyway, enjoy that. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. There's more like this. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That'll let you know when I go live. I go live every Friday at 6:30 Pacific time, but I tend to have guests occasionally, so you get notified when that happens. Hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep on trucking.